What a race, what a weekend for Mercedes and for Lewis Hamilton. Hey there folks, and welcome to the video. This one here is a review for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Before we get into it, make sure to check out my video linked in the description section down below. Let's talk about F1's Wii Races 1 display ahead of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, and it's something that is ever important, and something that, for example, the 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton has very close to his heart. Something that was a little bit too open, however, was the DRS flap at the end of qualifying. In scrutineering, one side of it was 0.2 millimeters too big, but in the world of just those ever so finite measurements that we see in Formula 1, that was too much. Back of the grid for the sprint race. And, well, it's not the sprint races, it's technically sprint qualifying, the F1 sprint, the final one of the season. Lewis Hamilton carving through the field, Valtteri Bottas jumping Max Verstappen at the start to take a win in the sprint. Lewis Hamilton going up to 5th. From 20th place. And he does it all again today. From 10th place on the grid this time, goes through to get the win. Max Verstappen, very harsh racing there. Forces the pair of them off the track. I can't wait to see what that onboard looks like, because that will probably be released tomorrow. And Mercedes is probably going to be quite an eager one to have a look at that as well. Especially if we have a look at the kind of appeal they threw in for Hamilton's pending disqualification yesterday. Or even the day before. Let's talk about it in that kind of sense, because that was such a long period to look at. Mercedes throwing in, oh, Verstappen touched the car, getting Verstappen a fine. I can't believe that they did that, but at the same time, I kind of can, given that we're seeing this title battle get so close. Mercedes is throwing everything and the kitchen sink at Red Bull to try and get the win. And, well, neither of them were particularly happy with the FIA today. Mercedes were very unhappy that Verstappen didn't get punished for the incident where Lewis and him both ended up off the track. You can see it's leaving track as an advantage. You can see it's forcing Lewis off the track. Either way, we'll have to wait to see what the proper onboard from Verstappen's car shows. And if it shows that he's turning out, Mercedes is going to file a protest. And that could potentially get Bottas into second place. And that would be a Mercedes 1-2. Only the second 1-2 we've had of the season. The first one, that was McLaren back at Monza. But you never know what's going to happen in the world of Formula 1, do you? And I think that's been even more so proven by this weekend. Because the thing is, when we're talking about altitude, we talk about Mercedes suffering. Look at, for example, Mexico City. Look at the Red Bull Ring. But here in Interlagos, it was Mercedes that had the power advantage. Lewis Hamilton more so than anyone else going down the straights. We saw it in the speed trap, and that's one of the things that people were flagging up as, oh, look at what's happening here. But with the new internal combustion engine penalty that Hamilton took, he managed to make that up and get the win. Verstappen took a whole new power unit in Sochi, got second place to who? Lewis Hamilton getting his 100th win. It's win number 101 now for Hamilton. Could we see even more by the end of the season? I'll tell you what I really want to see from a kind of neutral perspective. Lewis winning those next two races, not getting a fastest lap. Verstappen second in both of them, getting one fastest lap. So it's a dead heat going to Abu Dhabi, a place where Mercedes was stronger to pass, but in 2020 it was Verstappen who took, I think it was a Grand Slam to get his win there. So it really is anybody's game. It looks like it's more towards Mercedes right now in the Constructors, but in terms of the Drivers' Championship, it is really anybody's game. It really, really, really is. And what else can we talk about that race? Because, well, Brazil always throws up a couple of things. Saw that punch for Lando Norris after contact into the first corner. I don't think that was really avoiding action by the Ferrari, but yeah, felt sorry for Lando, but a good recovery drive nonetheless. And also looking at Valtteri Bottas, he did what he had to do. He wasn't able to make the start that he could, but he has been driving so brilliantly since he had that kind of whiff of fresh air, the announcement that he was going to Alfa Romeo. And do you know what that means now? That means that since 2017, so in those seasons that we've had a Bottas-Hamilton pairing, so what are we talking about? We're talking 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. 5 seasons. They now have as many wins between them as the Barrichello-Schumacher pairing did between 2000 and 2005. If you want to talk about the kind of pinnacle of motorsport, look at what Mercedes has done there. Look what that Brackley team did. The legacy of Michael Schumacher in that team. And, oh wow. But yeah, we'll have to wait to see what happens with Verstappen until after all of those cameras are released, because they will have some kind of storage of them. But on that note, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.